Muzammil Bhatt, and here he's giving shape to a sinister conspiracy against one of India's most popular leaders.
आश्रम जो है दिल्ली चलती है, चलो मैं ऐसा करूंगा, फिर उसको उसी टाइम उधर से नंबर आपका दे दूंगा, वो उधर से फोन करके आप सारी बात समझा दें। अच्छा यार, वो उधर पहुंचा है, मैंने उसको बताया तो है इसी तरह, लेकिन उसको बेचारे को कुछ पता ही नहीं है किधर जाना है, क्या हिसाब था, मतलब उसका आप देखो ना, आपने नंबर दिया है, हाँ तो ये नहीं पता कि मतलब अहमदाबाद किसको कहते हैं, वो करो ऐसा, आपको इसी तरह जन्म मिलेगी, अब्दुल गनी के नाम फोन करेगा आपको, किसके नाम पे? अब्दुल गनी है उसका नाम।
The man in the terror crosshairs of these dreaded terrorists is Narendra Modi, the Gujarat Chief Minister, and Muzammil had sent a sharpshooter from Pakistan to Ahmedabad so that there were no mistakes. This is how he introduced himself to his fellow terror masterminds in Gujarat.
वो हाथ में बोतल होगी, नीली पैंट होगी, बराबर, और डबियादार शर्ट होगी, डबियों वाली, उसमें नीला रंग भी होगा, सफेद भी होगा।
The man killed in the Ishrat encounter is the man Muzammil was speaking to. His name is Abdul Ghani, or as we know him now, Zishan Johar. Now here Muzammil, as he asks Ghani whether he has reached his destination Ahmedabad and how he is doing.
क्या हाल है जनाब? ठीक ठाक है? ठीक है। तकलीफ हो रही हुई? ना। पहले भी आए थे? इधर पहले भी एक दफा आए थे तो फोन नहीं मिला था? हाँ, उस वक्त फोन नहीं था मेरा। अच्छा। ठीक है। ओके।
Once Johar alias Ghani confirmed he was in Ahmedabad, Muzammil issues the chilling order to assassinate Narendra Modi, the Chief Minister of Gujarat.
अच्छा, तो दूसरा ये है कि आप भी इनको सारी जो आपने वो बताया था ना, क्या मच्छी वाला 5 नंबर वाला, उसके हवाले से इससे बातचीत करो, इसको सारी बात समझाओ, ये वो, हाँ, बराबर।
These recorded conversations, accessed exclusively by Headlines Today, were the precursor to the Ishrat Jahan encounter, an encounter that 9 years on remains a controversy. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Before we play out part 2 of those telephonic conversations, I want to try and put this whole story in perspective. Joining us at this time is Prabal Pratap Singh. He's been working for several days on putting this story together. Shabnam Hashmi has been tracking this case very, very closely for the last several years. She's joining us on this broadcast as also Ashok Malik, tracks the right, and Narendra Modi very, very closely. With us for perspective also from Ahmedabad at this time is Amibai Yagnik. She's representing the Congress Party, Jainara and Vyas spokesperson for the Gujarat government. I want to go across first to Prabal. Prabal, in that conversation that we just played out, we hear Machli number 5, and that is apparently the proof that the Intelligence Bureau passed on to the Gujarat police. Now, how do we know who Machli number 5 is? It could be anybody. How is the IB so sure that this is Modi?
Okay, this is just a part of the conversation. There is a whole long of conversation, very long, and they've been trailing it. During that conversation between Muzammil and his local operators, one Javed Pillai, they, in most of these conversations, they talk in coded languages. So they decoded that language, and if you go through the entire conversation, you will find that at one point they say, "Where is Lalji? Where is he at his business center?" Which means in Delhi or some other place. And so based on the entire prolonged conversation, they decided to zero in on this Machli number 5, and that Muzammil talks while talking to the Pakistani terrorists clearly refers to.
So where were these tapes all this while? If these tapes existed, why is the CBI in so much confusion, because the CBI would have people believe, and as we see cracking the terror code, the graphic out on the screen right now, just put out there to help you explain. When you hear Khad, they're talking about RDX. When you hear Machli number 5, they're talking about Narendra Modi. When they say scrap, they're talking about AK-47 rifles and grenades. Where were these tapes all these while? Because the CBI would have us believe that there was no evidence, that this was something that was trumped up by the Gujarat police and they orchestrated a fake encounter.
I will not like to comment on whether it was a fake or not. Let the court
That's
decide.
a separate matter.
Yeah, yes. That's a separate matter. My point is very simple. The matter, these tapes and the conversation are well within MHA. They are there in the MHA. But this whole controversy started 5 years after the encounter, when the magistrate gave the report. Every encounter, magistrate has to give his report whether it is genuine or fake. The magistrate took 5 years, he gave a report, then SIT, and there's a very long story. To cut the story short, these tapes are there, and the IB director in his letter to CBI director on 13th February 2013 clearly says that there were lots of inputs. This is not just one input. There were lots of inputs that all the Hindu leaders, Narendra Modi, Advani, Praveen Togadia, Bala Saheb Thackeray, they are target, and Lashkar commanders are directing their local,
we in fact have been able to access that letter written by the intelligence bureau.
That letter is with me.
Yes, Kawal has that letter, and I'd like to put it out actually. This letter written by Director Intelligence Bureau to his colleague, his contemporary in the CBI, and in this letter there's reference also of the inputs that were received from David Headley to the FBI, and over there again they say that Ishrat Jahan was a suicide bomber. So this is not just Indian inputs, corroborated internationally.
Yeah, if you look at this, carefully go through this letter, you'll find the letter talks about credible input about Pakistani terrorists and their local module, which is Javed. The letter, and they said that we have information and we have activated our field units, please. And during the process, Rajendra Kumar, who was JD SIB, he was asked to personally meet and interact with the then Commissioner of Ahmedabad Police and orally inform him about the inputs they had gathered. So Rajendra Kumar went and informed. That is why K.R. Kaushik has been called for questioning by the CBI also. And if you go through the letter, it says the terrorists who were killed, the aliases they were using, the same aliases they were using during conversation also. So okay, that is how it got.
Let me just try and read out some of what is written by the Intelligence Bureau Chief. This is not hearsay. This coming from an agency of the central government. In the post-Godhra riots period, persistent intelligence inputs were received indicating a threat to security of Narendra Modi and several other Hindu politicians and religious leaders. A reliable input was received about Lashkar-e-Taiba instructing its cadre in India to monitor the movements of BJP leaders like Advani, Modi, Togadia. This input was shared with all DGs. It also goes on to talk over here on page 2 about disclosures made by David Headley to the FBI about Ishrat Jahan being a suicide bomber of the Lashkar-e-Taiba recruited by Muzammil, who's in charge of the Lashkar-e-Taiba in Pakistan. And then it goes on to say various things, but the fact is this is what the CBI is now disputing. Before I play out part 2 of those tapes, I want Ashok Malik to explain to our viewers the political significance of these revelations, because at this time the BJP perceives the Congress using the CBI to target Narendra Modi on the Ishrat Jahan case, and they say they're trying to trip over his national prime ministerial aspirations.
You see, Ishrat Jahan was, as we know, a student, a young lady from Mumbai. Her story came out. She was supporting her family, and it was a very middle class, very ordinary family. And if it is established that she was an ordinary Muslim girl picked up by Modi's police and shot and falsely accused of being a terrorist, it can be very damaging for him. However, for the past 8 years, it's been fairly clear, but some of this is new and has not come out earlier, but it's been fairly clear that unfortunately this girl got mixed up or got involved with an extremist organization. And the day after she was shot, Lashkar-e-Taiba on his website brought out a news item related to her and said that she's our member or our part of our module, and she has been martyred and she's been killed by the Indian police. And yet after that there's been almost a propaganda campaign to paint her as some sort of an innocent person, completely innocent, picked up off the street, almost a tourist who was coming to Gujarat and was shot by the police there. I'm not going into whether the encounter is false or not.
That's a whole
separate issue.
case.
But
The question,
was the
the
assassination,
question this week has been this, Ashok. Was there or was there not a real threat to the life of Narendra Modi? That's been the question.
And our views on political assassination cannot be contingent on our politics as to the person who was the target of the
Prabal wants to make a point.
Yeah, but to add to what Ashok has raised, one point is very simple. The controversy started when a group of people started saying that she was an innocent guy. And an innocent was killed. But if you look at the letter that has been written by the IBG, he clearly says, yes, he is owning up the information. It is our information. We developed it. We shared it with the local police. And we told them very clearly that she is part of the terror module which is roaming around. Not only that, there is a confessional statement under 164 by Muhammad Yashi, who gave this statement in magistrate court in Faizabad. He has also said the same thing, that she was moving with the terrorists who were killed. She went to Lucknow also. She went to Faizabad also. Yashi was the one who arranged vehicles for them. So all these things point towards the fact that she was part of that module. Whether she was killed legally, illegally,
Now that we've been able to put this story in context, let me get you part two. You've also seen what the terror code really is, so you'll be able to understand the conversation that much better. The plot was meticulous, the detailing sharp. In these tapes, you'll hear Lashkar's Pakistan-based handler, Muzammil Bhatt. You'll hear him pass on diabolical details of his plot to target Modi, Advani and 3 others. Here is the Ishrat Jahan terror conversations.
अच्छा तो दूसरा ये है कि आप भी इनको सारी जो आपने वो बताया था ना, क्या मच्छी वाला 5 नंबर वाला, उसके हवाले से इससे बातचीत करो, इसको सारी बात समझाओ, ये वो, हाँ बराबर.
Target number 5, the terror code for Narendra Modi. The Gujarat Chief Minister on the Lashkar hit list. Now, let's tell you about the other 4 on the terror radar. Target number 1, target number 2, target number 3, target number 4. Now, you will hear why the Lashkar is struggling to snuff out the other big 4. While the terror blueprint was being hammered out, the quartet of Advani, Togadia, Thakare and Singhal were not in Gujarat. So the jihadis were zeroing in on Modi. Let's hear the voice of the enemy.
अच्छा तो दूसरा ये है कि आप भी इनको सारी जो आपने वो बताया था ना, क्या मच्छी वाला 5 नंबर वाला, उसके हवाले से इससे बातचीत करो, इसको सारी बात समझाओ, ये वो, हाँ बराबर. मैं कहा कोई मतलब बात नजर आई है, वो सारा कुछ तैयार है, भी उनकी आने की तैयार है. क्या फैसला की होगी आपके दिल में? कोई सब्सक्राइब वाला ही है, थोड़ा सब्सक्राइब का इस्तेमाल होगा. दूसरा वो जो था लुकमान के पास है, सुहान, वो समझ आती है आपको, कोई बचता नहीं है. हाँ बिल्कुल.
The terror codes were cracked. Scrap meant the AK-47, and Sasural was Ishrat's home, from where the weapon to kill was stashed away. The terror plan was being remote controlled from Pakistan.
ये काम करने के बाद ना वो जो है ना वापस जहाँ से आए हैं ना वहाँ निकलना है. ठीक है, ठीक है. चलो इसमें जो है ना कुछ वापस हो जाएंगे ना तो बेहतरी हो जाएगी. शानदार की जो है ना वो तरकीब लगा देंगे, कुछ वक्त गुजर जाएगा. ठीक है. और इसी तरह जहांबाग को और उसके साथ जो वो लड़का है ना, उनको भी कहना कि वो भी उसी साइड में हो जाए, जहाँ से जहांबाग है या ठाकुर के इलाके में हो जाए। ठीक है।
The terror transcripts show the ammunition was ready and the plot would be unleashed in a few days.
सर अभी जब मिलेगा मुझे दिख रही है, अगर वो पहुंच जाए आपके पास देखेंगे तो कितने दिनों बाद ये काम हो जाएगा? 1-2 दिन बाद हो जाएगा। अच्छा मोबाइल बोले? हाँ। अभी वो सामान का भी उनका मतलब बड़ा पता चलेगा ना कि कितना क्या हिसाब है उन्होंने किया है। उसके अगर सामान सारा तैयार हुआ फिर तो 1-2 दिन लगेंगे।
The terror war room in Pakistan was clearly telling the cadre to be on alert.
क्या किया है कि ये काम करने के बाद ना आपने खुद जो है ना वापस जहाँ से आए हैं ना उससे वहाँ निकलना है। ठीक है? ठीक है। चलो इसमें जो है ना कुछ वापस हो जाएंगे ना तो बेहतरी हो जाएगी। शानदार की जो है ना वो तरतीब लगा देंगे, कुछ वक्त गुजर जाएगा। ठीक है। और इसी तरह जहांबाग को और उसके साथ जो वो लड़का है ना, उनको भी कहना कि वो भी उसी साइड में हो जाए, जहाँ से जहांबाग है या ठाकुर के इलाके में हो जाए। ठीक है।
There was also a terse warning. Betrayals won't be forgiven.
बाकी आपको हिंसा की वजह से क्या करनी है? कोई गिरफ्तारी जैसी कोई चीज नजर नहीं है? नहीं अभी तक तो कोई नहीं है। कोई बुजदिली? ना। अच्छा जैसे प्लानिंग अच्छी करते हैं। हाँ ठीक है।
And let's hear how Lashkar operative Javed is taking orders from his Muzammil. The instructions were clear. Don't cut corners. The plan should be executed with precision.
तो सच्ची बात है वो अपनी होशियारी से जो ना हम लोग कोई मौका छोड़ना नहीं है। 1% भी ना कभी कमी नहीं छोड़ने के जो नुकसान होगा नहीं हमने नुकसान करने के बाद हमारा कुछ नुकसान हो इसी तरीके से चलना है। ठीक है।
Very, very significant revelations these. You just heard the Lashkar commander brief the sharpshooter in Ahmedabad that the plot must be completed. Machli number 5 needs to be brought down without any error. I want to go across now and get in some political reactions. Joining us on the show, BJP leader from Gujarat, Jai Narayan Vyas. Amibhai Yagnik from the Congress party is also with us. I come to Jai Narayan Vyas first. At a time when the CBI would have India believe that there was no threat at all to the life of Narendra Modi, that this was a fake encounter, a poor Muslim girl was killed, these revelations, these tapes now being put out in the public domain by headlines, they raise very serious questions about the motives of the CBI in pursuing this line of investigation, Mr. Vyas.
This is a brilliant example of investigative journalism. This only confirms what we have been saying from the beginning, that the CBI is being used and misused to further the political agenda of the UPA. I think what has been discussed so far, what has been demonstrated, what has been shown, the confession before the magistrate by somebody and a letter from the IB chief sets at rest any doubts one might have about the antecedents or the background of the people involved. I think this only confirms what we have been saying, that it is not CBI, it's Congress Bureau of Investigation, which dances as per the tunes being played from Delhi. They have an agenda, they have a mission, and they work as per the set agenda. So
Okay.
I think this has been abundantly made clear by now.
Let me bring in a counterpoint of view. Shabnam Hashmi has been tracking this case for very, very long now. The principal question the CBI is asking is, was there a threat at all to Narendra Modi's life? Now, it seems adequately established from within the Intelligence Bureau, which reports to a Congress minister, that there indeed was information about a threat to Narendra Modi's life. What do you make of this?